Tonight, Iran has been largely defeated in the Middle East, but is still strong in Canada and the West. It's June 23rd, and this is the Ezra Levant Show.
Shame on you, you censorious thug!
Did you see this video? It's from the largest Air Force base in the United Kingdom called RAF Bryce Norton. Pro-Hamas protesters broke into the base easily on electric scooters, drove to some jets and spray painted them. These are large Air Force refueling jets, the kind of jets that allow fighters to have extra range. Here's the video. Take a look. You know, going onto Air Force bases in a sneaky way like that reminded me of what we saw Ukraine do to Russia just a few weeks ago by drones. Russian bombers left out on the open, far away from the front lines. Ukraine sent drones into Russia and launched them from Russia, blowing up a bunch of strategic bombers, just massive, extremely expensive strategic military assets just attacked. They weren't blown up in the UK, but they were vandalized. Here, it was something that looks like paint as opposed to bombs. You can see what they looked like, but they deliberately sprayed into the jet engines. And I'm just going to guess that needs more than just a wipe clean. That may have wrecked the engines. I don't know. It's just unbelievable. My favorite part about this whole fiasco is that the Air Force Base was run by Karen from HR. I'm kidding. Her name is actually Louise, but she really is, as her official biography says, from HR. She is experienced in personnel, in media, in recruitment, and HR, but not so much the whole fighting bad guys thing or keeping out simple trespassers. So here's how Louise protects UK Air Force assets. Take a look at this picture. That is a 6-foot wooden fence. So at least no roaming cattle or sheep are allowed to get on the Air Force Base. So the group that did this was called, obviously, Palestine Action. And to my surprise, even the hardcore left-wing Labour government there has mused about declaring them a terrorist group based on what they did. What did they do? They support Hamas. It's in the name. They broke British laws. They damaged expensive key military assets. And obviously, they filmed themselves. They did this for PR purposes to make a political point. Pretty sure that's a working definition of terrorism. But the thing is, the British Fifth Column has other opinions on this. And so today, they marched in support of this Palestine Action Group, deliberately flouting any plans to criminalize the group as terrorists. Take a look at this.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! I don't want to trip over it. We'll never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. Shame on you! 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 on you! We do! I pay the tax man! I did about that!
And that's the thing about policing, isn't it? And modern policing, as we know it, was invented in the UK. Sir Robert Peel, after whom they call police bobbies. And his thesis was in a free country, police need the consent and the support of the people, or it's just not going to work. In a police state, you don't need the approval of the people, but a place like the UK, you do. So, what if you have imported into your country millions of people, or let's be optimistic and say only hundreds of thousands of them are in favor of Hamas? How do you police them? Sure, some of the marchers, as you can see, are British leftists and eco activists. um, Here's one lefty global warming group called Just Stop Oil, showing their support for the terrorists. But my observation from attending a couple of these huge Hamas marches is that it's countless sympathizers of Islamic extremism who have come to the UK in recent years from Muslim countries. It's immigration, is what I'm saying. How can police tackle 50,000, 100,000 people on the street? It's not just a few bad apples, is it? It's the same thing in Canada, but so far on a slightly smaller scale. In Toronto, they were marching around in support of Iran's dictatorship. I wonder how they square that with the fact that today, or in the last 24 hours, Iran launched ballistic missiles at a fellow Muslim country, Qatar, which is odd since both Iran and Qatar are united in their support for Hamas terrorism. I guess the rent-a-mobs in Toronto probably need to read their instructions very carefully this week because they have to choose who the good guy and bad guy is between Iran and Qatar. They don't just have to hate the Jews. I don't know. Maybe there's a theory that Iran or Qatar are actually run by the Jews. I don't know what these kooks think. All this reminds me, though, of that Dominique Cumming quote about millionaires in the United Arab Emirates who do not want to send their young kids to UK universities because they worry they will be radicalized and turned into Islamic extremists. Let me say that again. People in the United Arab Emirates, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, who are Muslim, do not want to send their young people to school in the UK because it's too radical there. Just turn that over in your brain for a bit. So the West has never been worse. I should tell you, the leading candidate for mayor of New York City is an Islamist sympathizer. Unthinkable even just 25 years ago. I mean, 9/11 was on 2001, but mass immigration will do that to a city. It will replace your vote with someone else's now, won't it? But look at the place itself. Look to Iran and the Middle East. What was Iran's response to having its extremely costly nuclear program smashed to bits by the United States? Here's a scoop in the New York Times. Let me read it to you. Iran coordinated the attacks on the American air base in Qatar with Qatari officials and gave advance notice that attacks were coming to minimize casualties, according to 3 Iranian officials familiar with the plans. The officials said Iran symbolically needed to strike back at the U.S., but at the same time carried out in a way that allowed all sides an exit ramp. They described it as a similar strategy to 2020, when Iran gave Iraq heads up before firing ballistic missiles at an American base in Iraq following the assassination of its top general. Oh, I was told by the Qatar-funded influencers on Twitter that we should now be in the middle of World War III, but looks like even Iran doesn't want to fight back. Here's Trump gloating about this earlier in the day. Let me just read to you from his Truth Social post. He says, Iran has officially responded to our obliteration of their nuclear facilities with a very weak response, which we expected, and have very effectively countered. There have been 14 missiles fired, 13 were knocked down, and one was set free because it was headed in a non-threatening direction. I am pleased to report that no Americans were harmed, and hardly any damage was done. Most importantly, they've gotten it all out of their system, and there will hopefully be no further hate. I want to thank Iran for giving us early notice. There it is, it's confirmed, which made it possible for no lives to be lost and nobody to be injured. He's thanking Iran. Perhaps Iran can now proceed to peace and harmony in the region, and I will enthusiastically encourage Israel to do the same. Thank you for attention to this matter. I love how he ends his war tweets with that line. He was laughing at them. um, but also saying, hey, time to do peace now. And if you can believe it, he has since announced that Iran has agreed to a ceasefire. We'll see if they mean that, because they've been killing Israelis with their rockets. Here's his latest. Trump said, congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions. For 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. Trump's calling it the 12-day war. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Iran and Israel, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel. God bless Iran. God bless the Middle East. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. I'm only surprised he didn't end by saying thank you for your attention to this matter, but that is a classic. That post there should be framed. So what is the state of the world? Well, America is not at war. I'm not sure if it ever was. Dropping some bombs without sending boots on the ground, I'm not sure if that even counts as being a war. It just destroyed their nuclear facilities after Israel had really swept the place of surface-to-air missiles. Iran is knocked down to size. Many top military and terrorist leaders were decapitated. A lot of their facilities were blown up. Hezbollah, their terrorist arm in Lebanon, was smashed. Syria's dictator was toppled, replaced by another dictator who's awful also, but the military has been degraded. Hamas in Gaza is still hanging on by a thread. They're not done yet, but all their allies are neutered, aren't they? Except for the West. Is the world safer? Well, of course. Is a broader peace deal in the region possible? I think so. I mean, I don't think you can make peace with the Ayatollahs in Iran, but I think that now that the threat of Iran is much reduced, you'll see Saudi Arabia join the Abraham Accords. Did Trump do what no other president has done or could do? You bet, obviously. And in doing so, he demolished Barack Obama's only legacy, which was financing Iran's nuclear ambitions. What does Russia think of all this? Well, they think they have their hands full in Ukraine, and maybe they're a little more scared about American weapons. What does China think? Well, they think maybe America has weapons they haven't yet managed to copy, like the B-2 bomber, which entered and left Iran without even being noticed. But what about Canada and our streets and our universities? Well, those and the Foreign Ministry of Canada, they remain dominated by Iran. Now, don't they?
They get money, they get a house.
There's too many people coming into Northern Ireland.
We need to know who is in our country, and we need to become strong.
You certainly don't believe in free speech. Sorry, you
got a phone on
you don't
camera,
believe, you don't believe it.
Can I ask you why you're here today?
If you try and bring facts to them, they'll just get angry at you and call you names like racist.
I'm actively being blocked here.
I think they're paid.
Can you speak? Are you another mute, or can you actually speak?
Lincoln J reporting for Rebel News in Belfast, the capital city of Northern Ireland, and behind me we have two large crowds on opposing sides. It's actually very similar to what you'd see back in Canada. Tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, so just behind, over your right shoulder, we've got basically the Patriots, and they're Irish and British Patriots. You see there's something very interesting there. If you zoom in, there's an Irish flag, which is an Irish tricolour, and there's also an Ulster flag, which is Northern Ireland's flag. Not the official flag, but it's Northern Ireland's sort of patriotic flag. So that's where the patriotic people are. Then over my other shoulder, you've got Free Palestine flags, you've got gay pride flags, you've got NIPSA, and you've basically got the left-wing paid opposition. They basically can fund that. You know, all the flags and everything are coming from NIPSA, which is a public sector union. So if you're paying any dues to a public sector union in Northern Ireland, you're actually paying dues to someone that's sponsoring that's going on behind us. And really, I think the difference is the patriotic protest is made up of Northern Irish and Irish working class people who have genuine concerns about immigration. And the other side are controlled opposition, paid for by the government, paid for by the big unions, sponsored by Sinn Féin, sponsored by the SDLP. So it's the difference between real people power, which is the British and Irish working class standing together against the destruction of their culture by mass immigration, and people who literally just don't care about borders, don't care about identity, don't care about culture, and are fully paid up and bought into the globalist agenda. So that's basically what's going on here.
All right, so we'll try to wander into both sides of the crowd, get some opinions. You can check out all of our reports at migrantreports.com, and if you appreciate the coverage, consider supporting our independent journalism through that same website, migrantreports.com. Thanks. And what brings you out here today?
Well, what brings me out here today, because I'm seeing a lot what's going on in my country. With all these illegals coming in, they're taking over absolutely everything.
Disgraceful. We're being flooded full of unvetted illegal men. Don't know where they're coming from. They could be terrorists. A lot of them are terrorists because they're doing attacks. They're raping people.
All right, if they're refugees, yeah, but most of them are sponsors and scroungers.
This is mothers and fathers across communities coming together to protect the women and children.
They're not blending in with our culture. You know, they just don't care.
We're just being flooded in, left, right and centre. Anybody who speaks up, speaks out, is labelled as a racist or a bigot. The same old rhetoric from the left as seen over there.
There's too many people coming into Northern Ireland. Right? They're not vetted. I says we don't know who they are. I see a danger. I'm a grandfather. I've got grandkids. I'm here for them.
They get money, they get a house, they get everything. What do they get in France? A f***ing tent.
I think what's happening here at home, we had enough in the 60s and 70s and 80s with IRA bombings all around us. The same people are involved with this evil that's across the street. Ordinary people can't get living. I can't even visit my local beach no more. I just feel as if I'm being pushed to look like a racist. And I am far from it.
Calling them refugees, asylum seekers or immigration didn't stop the serious assaults that have happened in Ballymena.
It's just getting beyond the point now. Before that going on up in Ballymena as well, with 3 girls in 1 month who were raped, more or less. It was all silence until the violence kicked in. And that's whenever it started to get all over the TV, all over the news. And that's when this is branded it as racist. Then talk about what actually caused the riots.
And I'm an ex-serviceman, served my time in the army, spent 2 years homeless on the streets. We were given absolutely nothing on these streets. Now we're seeing these guys given absolutely everything, and it's totally wrong.
Royalism has always been a far-right ideology that linked to dominate the Olympic Games.
Can I ask you why you're here today?
Sorry, guys.
No. Can you tell me what this protest is about?
Listen in.
I just want to try to talk to people. I'm actively being blocked here. Not surprised. Can I ask you why you're here today? I am trying to get the other side for the record. As you can see, it's kind of hard, but I'm trying. Ladies, can I ask you why you're here today? I don't know why you're doing this. This is what brings you out? Don't speak. Can I ask you why you're here today? Just a simple question.
Excuse me, do you believe in free speech? Do you believe in free speech? Why you stop? This guy's a journalist, right? I'm a citizen journalist. Doesn't matter who I am. You're not a journalist. No, I am a journalist. You certainly don't believe in free speech. Sorry, you got a phone on the camera, mate. You don't believe in free speech. You don't believe. I don't need your permission. I don't need your permission. I don't need your permission. So you won't let these guys to come in and talk to me? Why not? What do you think about the sectarian speech that one of your speakers made talking about burning Protestant farmers? What do you think about that? Burning Protestant farmers. Get off my camera. Don't touch my camera, get out of my space, okay?
You're the one touching me, mate.
No, I'm protecting myself.
You're the one touching me.
I'm defending myself,
You're
okay?
touching me, mate.
I'm defending myself. Just stay away. Stay back, okay? So basically what we've got here is we've got these guys are actually stopping journalists that's come from Canada to cover this event, and we've got some heavies coming in. Every time this guy tries to interview someone, this guy's intimidating him, putting himself right in his space and making sure that he can't get anywhere near him. That's what these people believe in. They don't believe in free speech, they don't believe in liberty, they are fascists, they don't believe in freedom, and this is the problem in this country right here, right now.
This is very similar to what you see in Canada. They're like marshals that kind of, protect the protest or the people protesting, and they won't let us talk to anybody. Why is there so many people on that side?
Because they're paid to be here. Most of them are all trade union. What are they doing over there? I thought they were for everybody.
I think they're getting just a lot of opinions, emotional opinions, and then they're emotional people, so they'll come out and they'll express their emotions, but they're not. If you try and bring facts to them, they'll just get angry at you and call you names like racist.
They're all different agendas, but the thing is, if they can't see a threat, I can see a threat.
So many people are taken in by stupid stuff like gays for politics. Do not know they lose their heads.
Why is there so many of them?
I think they're paid. I walk through the crowd and I don't recognise anybody. I've lived here all my day.
Because they're all paid protesters. They get €45 a day to come out and do this. But all these people are here because they care about their communities, they care about their children, they care about their women.
They have a pride flag up because if they went to Gaza, they would cut their bloody heads off.
They may talk all they want, but it's not in their heart.
It's the same stuff every single time they come out. Same song, same chants. Doesn't change with them. Don't indoctrinate it.
Can I ask you guys why you're here today?
I don't want to talk to this.
No? Okay. That's all right. Do you mind if I ask you, what do you think about the protests here?
It's about time.
Hey, you're being very intimidating, right? You're being very intimidating. This guy's trying to do a job as a journalist, right? And you're intimidating. Why are you doing that? Can you speak? Sorry, mate. You're getting way too close to my space, mate.
We're talking to the police officer.
Can you speak? Are you another mute, or can you actually speak? You can actually talk, yeah. What are you doing, pushing my camera, man? Yeah. You've come into my space. I'm coming to his space. You stood there and saw it. Okay.
The best way is we just take a step back, both of us, and then.
Well, we're going now anyway.
Oh,
but it's just we're not going to go where we're not welcome. But it just shows you the difference. Oh, you can speak. You can speak. Fantastic. Well, go on, say something, mate. I just want to know you can speak. I'm worried about it.
Don't be so spineless. Don't be so yellow.
I'm not spineless. I'm not spineless.
You bumped into me.
You're brave in front of the police, mate. You're brave in front of the police, aren't you? Yeah, brave in front of the police. Typical.
Can I ask you what brings you out here today?
Everybody just take a step back.
Right. What just happened there?
Well, that was a welcome to Belfast. Welcome to the far left in Belfast. I mean, basically what happened was you went in there quite lawfully to try and chat to people about what they believed. You're a journalist, you come from Canada, and let's just say the left weren't very welcoming. They straight away, the stewards and high-vis vests, which isn't stewards' jobs to stop journalists doing the job, came, accosted you, stopped you talking to people, and I think we could safely say, Lincoln, they got very menacing.
We're going to Ballymena.
We're going to Ballymena. We've got some interviews lined up in Ballymena.
And Ballymena is where the alleged sexual assault took place.
Ballymena is where this criminal gang have set up shop, and Ballymena is where the rioting was last week. So you'll get a very good impression. I've got some people lined up for you to chat to who were on the ground when it all happened, community activists, people that were, well, I'm going to say, but people are very close to everything that happened, and so they'll be able to tell you exactly what went on.
Perfect. So, you guys, you can check out all of our coverage, migrantreports.com, and you can stay tuned for that upcoming video in Ballymena at migrantreports.com. Chip in, support our independent journalism. Thanks, and thanks, Richard.
An interesting day.
Thanks for watching the video. We tried to talk to both sides. We talked to one side, but not the other. If you appreciate this coverage, go to migrantreports.com. Through that website, you can check out all of our coverage from here in Northern Ireland. And if you appreciate the independent journalism, you can consider making a donation through that same website, migrantreports.com. Thanks.